You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. A total of 9 tornadoes tore through the state last week on Thursday. The National Weather Service conducted their damage surveys on Friday and rated 3 of them EF2s on the Enhanced Fujita scale. The National Weather Service says winds of 125 miles per hour hit New Richmond in far northwest Wisconsin, and 120 mile per hour peak winds destroyed parts of Juneau, Mayville, and Colby in southern areas of the state. And the tornado in Juneau was on the ground for over 9 miles. The others were rated EF1s with 95 mile per hour winds in Lumira, Christie, and another in Juneau that hit the airport. The rest were EF0s in Rib Falls and Loyal, with around 80 mile per hour winds there. Before Thursday, the state had seen 7 tornadoes in total this year, all of which appeared on April 28th. Now, in just 2 days so far this year, Wisconsin has experienced 16 in total. The state's average is 23 per year. Last year, we broke records with 45 tearing through our backyard. Tornado season lasts through August, but twisters can touch down any time of the year, and June is the peak month for them. And Johnson and journalists are getting together later this month. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Senator Ron Johnson will headline a newsmaker luncheon hosted by the Milwaukee Press Club and WisPolitics.com on Wednesday, May 28th. Johnson will give brief remarks before taking questions from a panel of local journalists and the audience at the Newsroom Pub. The event starts at a little before noon that day. It is open to the public with advanced registration required.
And the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection is currently accepting applications for specialty crop block grants. The agency will accept applications for the grant program until June 9th. During a House Appropriations Committee hearing, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was questioned about his vaccine views in Washington. Lisa Hale has more.
Wisconsin's 2nd District Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan asked Kennedy if he had a child today, whether he would vaccinate that child against measles. His answer?
For measles, probably for measles. What I would say is my opinions about vaccines are irrelevant.
The exchange came amid ongoing but waning measles outbreaks in the United States. The head of Health and Human Services in President Trump's administration also said,
I don't think people should be taking medical advice from me.
As HHS Secretary, Kennedy's job is to protect the health of Americans and manage various agencies such as the CDC and the FDA.
And May marks 2 critical statewide observances: Aging and Disability Resource Center, ADRC Month, and Older Americans Month, as proclaimed by Governor Tony Evers. Joanne Krulotz reports.
This year's Older Americans Month theme, Flip the Script on Aging, encourages all Wisconsinites to challenge age-related biases and recognize that aging is a dynamic, lifelong process.
And Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is sharing a letter sent to the Trump administration urging them not to delay or obstruct federal funding for internet infrastructure projects. The letter warns the administration that disruptions to federal funding for broadband investments will prevent Wisconsin from getting more people connected to affordable and high-speed internet. The letter also notes that the state funding for internet infrastructure expansion was cut by state Republicans in the last biennial budget, who argued federal funding would cover those efforts. April's errors have brought May changes. Stuart J. Waddles has more from Milwaukee.
After record-breaking turnout left some Milwaukee polling sites without ballots on April 1st, the city's election commission will now make a change. Going forward, they'll order enough ballots for every registered voter in future spring elections. Officials say the shortage forced some voters to wait hours, and while no one was officially turned away, leaders do admit that some may have left in frustration. The move comes as Milwaukee's election chief calls the incident a crisis that must not be repeated.
And an embattled judge is seeking donations. Lisa Hale reports.
Milwaukee Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, charged with helping a man evade immigration officials, is now seeking donations to cover the cost of her defense. She announced the fund Friday with a website saying that she will not take donations from Milwaukee County residents, attorneys who practice in the county, lobbyists, judges, county employees, or anyone with pending matters before any Milwaukee County judge. She also said that she will only take money from U.S. citizens. Her attorneys have called the case against her, quote, an unprecedented attack on the independent judiciary by the federal government, end quote. Dugan pleaded not guilty to the charges last week. Her attorneys have filed a motion to dismiss the case.
And the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is inviting us to participate in the yearly Karner Blue Butterfly Volunteer Monitoring Program. Each year, the program seeks to track the endangered butterfly across the state. This helps DNR officials sustain their population. Wisconsin currently has the largest number of Karner blue butterflies remaining in the country. Gas prices rose 7 cents over the last week for an average of $2.98 today. This is over 2.5 cents higher than a month ago and over 38 cents per gallon cheaper than this time last year. Melissa Kay tells us more.
Oil prices jumped following President Trump's decision to reduce tariffs and strike new trade deals. This move caused gas prices to increase in over 3/4 of U.S. states last week. Drivers are seeing significant savings at the pump compared to a year ago, but that gap has narrowed as oil prices have rebounded. As it looks now, this could be one of the most affordable summers for motorists since the pandemic.
And prices in central Wisconsin today range from $2.89 to $2.96 per gallon. And the April unemployment numbers have been released. Lisa Hale reports.
The number of unemployed people in Wisconsin increased slightly in April, according to preliminary estimates from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. The Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development announced Wisconsin's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate increased slightly to 3.3% over the last month. That's still 0.9 percentage points below the national unemployment rate of 4.2%. Wisconsin's labor force decreased by 4,900 over the month. Over 3,066,000 people were employed in the state of Wisconsin in April.
And Wisconsin Republicans gathered in Rothschild over the weekend, highlighting both their political accomplishments and shortcomings from the past year. A number of high-profile Republicans took the stage on Saturday with a message of party unity, including Senator Ron Johnson and Congressman Derek Van Orden. Representative Nancy Mace of South Carolina also delivered a speech as a guest speaker. Following their speeches, state Republicans voted on a number of resolutions, including one to oppose same-day voter registration in Wisconsin. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
It's the Brewers and the Orioles. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Brewers host the Baltimore Orioles tonight at AmFam Field. After 7 years, Baltimore fired their manager, Brandon Hyde, over the weekend and replaced him with third base coach Tony Manzolino. Now, yesterday, the Brewers avoided a sweep. They beat the Twins 5-2. Pat Murphy conceding the Brewers have not spent very much this year in free agency.
I trust the players. I like the players. I think they're good. Now, did we go spend a lot of money in the offseason, guys? Let's call a spade a spade. No, we didn't. Are we real deep in the position player business? No, we're not. But we have good ones.
In golf, Scotty Scheffler shot 11 under par to win the PGA at Quail Hollow in Charlotte.
I've prepared my entire life, and to have a chance to win a tournament that I've dreamed about as a kid is a pretty cool feeling. And when you step up out on the first tee, there's definitely stress. It's definitely challenging, but at the same time, it's a lot of fun.
That's Scotty Scheffler. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Jennifer Lawrence is the last true movie star, according to Sean Penn. The actor discussed numerous celebrities on the Louis Theroux podcast recently, and as usual, spoke his mind. The Fast Times at Ridgemont High star said he felt the movie star manufacturer stopped working right after Lawrence. That's a lot of pressure on Lawrence. Penn also had effusive praise for Tom Cruise, calling him an extraordinary craftsman and an actor who pursues excellence on such a high level. Penn also talked about how impressed he was with the fact that Cruise does his own stunts and called him, in addition to being a remarkable actor, probably the best stuntman in Hollywood. Penn did say there were many young great actors out there, and when asked if Timothée Chalamet was one of them, said he hadn't seen any of the A Complete Unknown star's films. Scarlett Johansson says after her breakout role in 2003's Lost in Translation, she enjoyed success, but it came with the baggage of being offered acting roles that objectified her. The actress told Vanity Fair that she felt she was being exploited and had to have a talk with her representatives about what kind of roles she wanted. She also said her co-star in the film, Bill Murray, was in a strange place during the filming, saying that he was dealing with stuff. Love when people allude to things but don't give you the full tea. She did say she thinks Murray is in a much better place now as life has humbled him. If you haven't seen Sofia Coppola's Lost in Translation, it's a great movie and Johansson is excellent. Former besties Taylor Swift and Blake Lively have hit a rough patch. Sources say the world's biggest pop star wants nothing to do with Lively until after her legal battles with Justin Baldoni are over. Baldoni and Lively are embroiled in lawsuits stemming from their film It Ends With Us. Swift was served a subpoena in the case, and there are rumors that Lively is trying to get her support. Swift has made it clear she did not appreciate that and wants no part of it, and has made clear she had nothing to do with the film and wants to keep her distance from the drama. The New York Post reports the friendship is in a fragile state. I love movies that are cinematic, but it's also fun when the filmmaker takes chances. The new film Hallow Road takes place primarily in one location, a car. The film stars Matthew Rhys and Rosamund Pike as parents who get a call that their daughter was in a car accident. Most of the film takes place between the two actors driving to the scene. The thriller is reviewing well and will find its way to America in August. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
A mix of clouds and sunshine today with a high in the mid to upper 50s this afternoon. A little breezy at times, especially later this afternoon. Tonight, breezy with showers after midnight or low in the low 40s. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with scattered rain and a high in the mid 50s. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 39.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.